There's a few young people who I know who are going on that road of becoming a gangster. They want to be a gangster. They're watching these gangster films, they're watching these gangster programs, and it's all coming together in their life for them to be a gangster. But I don't think they understand what it takes to be a gangster. You see, to be a gangster, you mustn't cringe when it comes to your turn. Now, what do I mean by cringe? I used to hate dealing with fake gangsters. I used to hate it because I weren't no gangster, but I was a defender on the streets of London. And a defender is a person who doesn't start trouble on no one, but when trouble comes to him, he defends his corner. We don't roll over. Defenders don't roll over. Our actions might look like a gangster, but we don't claim that we're gangsters and we do not act like gangsters. But looking at our actions, it might look like you. It might look like to you that we're gangsters. Mm. You see, they have different types of gangsters. You have gangsters who just want to make their money by any means necessarily. But they have these fake wannabe gangsters who think that they did a bit of work on the streets. You know, they hurt a couple guys. They've took over certain territories, certain postcodes, and they got a little reputation for themselves. And now they are top boys. They are gangsters. Mm. But I used to hate um, taking revenge on these kind of guys because when you catch them on their own and they know that it's time to say it's over, they are pushed in the corner and they have nowhere to go. These same wannabe gangsters cry like babies. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. They cry like babies. And I used to, you know, hate the fact that they took their life and turned it into a gangster life, but never back it all the way. I said to myself, there's one time in my life I said to myself, if I'm going to be a gangster, I'm going to be the ruthless gangster you've ever met in your life. If I'm going to be a businessman, I'm going to be the best businessman you ever met in your life. Whatever I do is what I'm going to do the best of my ability. You know, and I nearly fall into that gangster life, but by the grace of God, I never fall into that gangster life. I was saved by the blood of Jesus, you know. But I can't exclude where I come from. You see, I've been on the front line for about 15 years, even longer than 15 years. I've been on the front line. If you go to London, you go to a place called Hackney, a place called Sandgel Road. Um, that place, you ask them what is this name of this road, they will say it's the front line. It's the front line. It's the front line where every type of gangster kind of hangs around. Things happen around there. I remember at the age of 17 years old, I was on the front line and I did hear so much sirens, police cars just going up the road, going up the road. And me and this well-known gangster, if you put it this way, walked up the road together. And when we got up the road where the police cars were stopped, they stopped, we did see a young guy, lying on the floor. And when I looked over his body, I realized he wasn't with us no more. You could tell that his spirit has left his body, and there were stab wounds in his body. And the story was that he was a burglar, a creeper burglar, who used to go into people's houses while they were sleeping and rob what they had in their house, jewelry and money or whatever. But this specific house where he went into, the man who owned the house was a chef. So imagine a chef. A chef is used to, are quite clever with using their knives. They know how to use their knives very well. And the chef catched this young guy in his house and gave him multiple stab wounds in his body. And the young guy managed to run downstairs out to the front of the house. And that's when he dropped and he died instantly. And I was 17 years old when I first saw my dead boss, see someone, you know, die. And I was with this gangster, and he offered me a cigarette. That's the first time I smoked a cigarette with a gangster. This experience for me, I thought nothing of it that much, but I noticed in life it affected my life somehow, some way. It made me become more colder on the streets. It made me be more aware of the streets. It made me be more streetwise. That that life can be taken anytime once you live in this gangster life. This gangster life, believe me, my friend, is not a joke thing. This gangster life is a life where you put so much energy into this life and you get nothing back from it, set for disaster, set for long prison sentence, set for stab wounds and gun wounds and being kidnapped and being tortured. These are the things what happens. And I say that if you're in it, don't cringe when it comes to your turn. You know what I'm saying? You see, if I was in it, I ain't gonna cringe when it comes to my turn. When I mean comes to my turn, come to my turn when of turn of revenge. When guys are coming to take revenge on you and they've got you and they're gonna do what they're gonna do to you, don't cringe. Because this is the life that you've chosen. This is the life that you're living. And there's consequences that comes with this life. Don't get it twisted, my friend. It's real out there. You know what I'm saying? It's real out there. I've moved with notorious guys. You know what I'm saying? And for me to move with notorious guys, guess what kind of guy I was? I keep that as a question mark for you. But you see, the only thing that saved me, and this is the truth, I need to speak to someone today, and hope it's a young youth who's hearing my voice. The only thing that saved me was the grace of God. And when people hear me say the grace of God, some people are going to switch off my video because you see, God is not cool. God is not swag. But ain't I looking cool? I still got my swag. You know what I'm saying? But I'm serving the living God with my swag. You see, there's some things that won't change about me. It's like, I spoke to a company the other day and I was speaking to this lady, and straight away she said to me, "You come from London, don't you?" You see, the language of my London accent don't change. Even though I try to make it change, it don't change. I am who I am. I come from where I come from. I've seen what I've seen, I've done what I've done, but I'm here to tell you out of all the outcome of my life, I managed to find Jesus Christ. And that's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And you might say, yeah, well, that happened to you, good for you. But no, it has to be good for you as well. Because if you're one of these guys who's living this gangster life, I'm telling you, you are in the enemy's territory. And there's only three things what would happen to you. And the three things is number one, you will die early in a violent death, or you will go to prison and in and out of prison, or go to prison for a long term, or you will make a lot of money and be rich, but one day it will all come falling down on you. Because the gangster life, the street life, is the devil's territory. He controls that. You see, when I used to listen to gangster hip hop, not just hip hop is hip hop, but gangster rap, gangster hip hop, it used to make me perform like an animal. I was like an animal on the streets, even though I was still a defender. But sometimes, you know, I came out of who I was, and I was doing some wrong things on the streets. You know, you carry a weapon and you say you won't use it. One day you're going to use it, my friend. And when you sit down in that prison cell and know that you're up for a big charge and that you're looking at 18 years in prison for just one mistake in your life that took 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and now you're going to be doing 18 years in prison for that one mistake. You know, some people say there's no regrets, but let me tell you this now, there's big regrets. Because you lose everything. You've lost everything. Everything that you're supposed to be, everything you're about to become, you've lost it. And yes, there is guys who go to jail and they, you know, find God in jail and they change their life around, you know. But the truth is, my friend, try not to get yourself in that position in the first place. I've met a lot of murderers, I met a lot of murderers, young guys, murderers, you know, guys who shoot people, guys who took people's lives, not once but twice, you know. There was a big thing in Dorster Lane, just around the corner from where I come from, and you know, it was a double homicide. Two people got shot in the head, and I never know that it was one of the guys who I used to hang around with regularly, like everyday kind of thing, was the one responsible for taking those people's lives. And I knew this guy, you know what I'm saying? I knew this guy, but he didn't seem like that kind of person. He never seemed like a person who would take someone's life. You know what I'm saying? It must have just happened in the moment. But in the moment, for you to take two people's lives, something must have been going on in your mind, you know? And that's the cats I used to hang around with. I used to hang around with cats, with guys who didn't care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And how did I find myself with these kind of guys? You know, once you step into the street life, you meet these kind of people in your life. And you hang around with them and you start doing things with them because you believe that, you know, it's you and them together as one. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's deep, but, you know, the gangster life, brother, let me tell you the truth, the gangster life, I'm a witness. Don't feel what I'm saying. I'm telling you, believe me, no matter how you see me now, You ain't gonna see none gangster in me now. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna see it now because I'm all about God now. But if you listen to my stories, you will know if I'm talking the truth or if I'm lying to you. My stories are real. I've got chapters and chapters of stories. You know what I'm saying? I've got books to write. I've got, a book to write that God disturbed my business on the streets of London, a place called Hackney. I've got books to write about, you know, about positive thinking, you know, about, the gangster music is poison to the young youth today. It's poison. What you listen to is is who you will become. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted, bro. What you listen to is who you will become. You're listening to that gangster business in your car. Believe me, one day you shall become that gangster. You know what I'm saying? You have to listen to something positive if you want something positive back in your life. But if you're listening to that gangster, you see, to the youth, them it's just, it's just music. And you know what I'm saying? But music have a big effect over your life. I remember one time I used to work for SES, a furniture company. We used to deliver furniture to people's houses, and it was a good job because I used to get a lot of tips on the job. But I remember when I used to work there was one particular song, what was a hit song, what I just didn't like. I hated this song. I really, with a passion, hated this song. But every day they played it on the radio about 4 or 5 times a day. And before you know it, instantly, I didn't even realize I was doing it. It was my friend who tapped me and said, "Hey Nathan, you know the song what you hate?" And I said, "Yeah." He says that I see you singing to yourself that same song early on through the day. I actually was singing the song to myself, the song that I didn't like, the song I hated. I end up singing that song. If you study the mind, you don't need to be non doctor. You don't need to be non psychologist or nothing like that. Just you do your own research of studying the mind, and you will realize what the mind takes in. It has a big influence, and you shall become what you listen to. The food you eat, you know what I'm saying? There's an outcome. You eat fish and chips every day and burgers. In a space of weeks, you see how fat you will get. You know what I'm saying? The food you eat is who you will become. The music you listen to is who you shall become. You know? So this gangster life, my brother, I'm telling you this now. Take it from me. Because I've been there. I've been there. I've been around them for many years. You know what I'm saying? I'm not none sweet puppy who just come. You know what I'm saying? I've been on the front line, my brother. And that gangster life is a life of no hope. God bless you guys.